you can still be successful and like not just fucking press a button on a machine. Like, I'd love to see their prints if that's all they're capable of doing.
Squeegee Podcast Season 2. This podcast is sponsored by Blind Maggot, Magna Colours, M&R, Target Transfers, and Adobe Creative Suite.
Cool. So I'm Mikey, and I'm one of the two people that run Vino Sangre in Norwich. We are a very small team of 5 people, and we're a screen printing studio that predominantly does, I guess, the music industry and the tattoo industry.
Yeah.
Amongst other things.
Yeah. That's definitely where I've seen your brand of printing dominate, is when I went to Brighton Tattoo Convention. I was like, oh my God, every other box that you saw under these tattooists things were like Vino Sangre, Vino Sangre.
So the box has definitely been the best thing we ever did, because it's visibility is such a difficult thing these days, like obviously online and everything. So we just decided to just spend money on initially we printed our own boxes, and then that just got kind of hectic. But just having your logo everywhere, it's like one of them Darren Brown things where it's just like subconsciously just like being like punted into your mind. But yeah, if you go and see like bands or like festivals and stuff, I mean, for me it's like super humbling to just like walk around and just see that logo and like know that like a bunch of people have trusted us to print their stuff. So yeah, so that's the box thing has been like one of the greatest things we decided to do, I reckon.
Yeah, especially because like you're going for a relatively high grade box. They're not just chucking it away. They need that box to bring it to the convention.
Exactly.
And then other tattooists, apprentices and stuff are looking up to the tattooists. They're going to those conventions to see like what you should be doing and who you should be using and what inks you should be using and all that type of stuff. So yeah, it's really, really powerful. A little bit of advice for getting your name out there. Yeah,
subliminal advice.
Yeah.
But it always works, because like if you think of like a merch table, like customers or people that are there to see a band or to meet a tattooist or whatever, they'll kind of want to know what's going on. So they'll say, oh, that's been printed by this person, and like that's been printed by this person. And it's just like, so then the other bands and the other tattooists will also get involved in that. So it's like a double hitter. So yeah, and I think like one of the hardest things at the moment is just like general visibility, getting your name out there. Like we've been really fortunate because like, so my history like with music just goes back. So I put my first show on when I was 14, which was in, show my age, 94. So I've been playing in bands, putting on shows, running record label for years and years and years. So, and everyone knows everyone. And so Sam comes from the skating, inline skating scene, and that's the same thing, because I guess as well, because it's like a niche, well, not niche, but like it's more of like an underground.
It's a community. Yeah,
it is. So it's so yeah, like not everybody is going to be into like brutal hardcore and like really like noisy punk music, but yeah, everyone that's like kind of just like I've met over the years, like we've been very fortunate to just have like a bunch of people that are just like, yeah, just always around. And I did wonder when I stopped like touring so much, because it got busier, whether like stuff would drop off, and when all my friends stopped being in bands, whether stuff would drop off. But by that point, yeah, we'd solidified the name enough so that like, we're still still out and about. So we've been really lucky. It's been good.
But you're saying luck, but it's actually all that hard work for all those years without seeing maybe the full fruits of your labor, and then it's all coming together. It's like a. Do you think that even if you did no marketing, just took yourself off social media and stuff, you would just have your books filled? Maybe like, I don't know, how much percentage of your books would be filled just on repeat custom?
Repeat and new custom would just be the same, I think, to be honest. I deleted Facebook about 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago, and I kind of shit myself that maybe that would have like a detrimental effect on the overall business, but it really didn't do anything. And then So yeah, I've got Instagram. I hate Instagram, but like you do have to have something out there. So like so in an ideal world, I would sack all of that off and just have everything going through our website and newsletter, because then it's just like you're actively like participating. And again, it's like going back to the word community, just like if you got like a good sort of network of people that are kind of interested in what you're doing, and like if we're interested in what they're doing, and like there's always new bands and like new artists that are sort of coming out and about.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think like I would love to just delete everything. I don't I don't think it would really be that bad, because like I said, because there is that continual kind of like visibility thing with the boxes, and like me playing in bands, and Sam's doing a lot of cycling like events and stuff like that, so he's out and about doing that. Tom's a skater, so he's doing that. Like the other thing is, yeah, so we've all got our own little thing going on. Like Max does like these awesome illustrations and graffiti. Tara kind of like is a kind of like a seamstress. So yeah, we've all got these little nooks and crannies that we're all kind of working in and around. And I think yeah, if we deleted it, we'd yeah,
fine.
I think we'd still be all right. I don't know. Like part of me would love to do that. Because I think yeah, one of the things that I struggle with is just the general like the amount of time that has to go into social media and all of that stuff. I'd rather be like printing, to be honest. So
or talking to people directly in your like that's how you really get business, isn't it? Like,
yeah, exactly. And I think like my whole thing from the very beginning, from when I started in my bedroom and all of this stuff like that, was just to be myself, and yeah, just to kind of make Vino as like approachable and like welcoming for everybody, for customers and for staff. Do you know what I mean? So like if everyone's happy, then the world is definitely a better place. So so yeah, that's kind of just been the main goal, I guess. Just trying to keep everybody stoked.
Can you tell me about the dynamics and stuff that's happened since Callum recently left?
So that's been interesting because so Callum, we've trained him for a few years, and he was a very good printer. So it's been really sad, like from a friendship point of view, it's like there's a very big Callum shaped hole left left here, but we decided to not to replace him for the time being, and to just see if we can manage the workload. So we recently took on Tara, and so she's come in and we're training her up. Tom's like an absolute beast when it comes to prep. That's his main focus. So we've just kind of had to slightly tweak. I mean, the whole thing of like obviously running a small like independent business with a small team, like I guess the main goal is to just streamline everything, and like just like looking at things daily. Like, and Sam's always been the kind of person that said, well, if you can trim off 10 seconds a day, that will be X amount of time in a week, in a month, and you know, that kind of ethos. And it genuinely like it does work. So so Tara is now like mainly like printing manually, doing the stock handling and stuff. And we've all got kind of like our own kind of set things. So like I said, Tom's like just doing the prep. And then Max and Sam are printing like on the machine, and then I'm upstairs sweating and talking to people. So we've all kind of like decided what we want to do. Like I like talking to people. My hand's still a bit fucked up, so I can't print like regularly. So yeah, so it's been an interesting few weeks. Well, I can't remember how long he's been now. He's been gone for maybe just over a month. Everything flies by so quickly.
I know.
Like I can't believe it's nearly October now. It's like absolutely mad.
I know October's it's really, really scary seeing these months fly by, and you're looking at Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, shit, this is gonna.
Yeah, I went into Tesco's the other day, and they've literally got like the Christmas stuff is already up. And I'm like, God, where's the Halloween stuff? That's got to come first. And then
it does.
But yeah, it's just relentless. So so yeah, I think time flying by is another thing that like I would definitely like to have an extra day in the week. just to kind of keep on top of workload.
Yeah. Do you feel that pressure when you go home? You're constantly thinking of 2 or 3 things you could have stayed back with. Do you get like 100%. Any guilt like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think like if you speak to any business owner, like, or any self-employed person, this is one of the things that, like, it's like a great thing because you're doing an amazing thing for yourself and you have your own business, but then the downside is you just never switch off. So like it'll be like 3 a.m. and I'll wake up and be like, oh fuck, I forgot to order those shirts for so and so, and like so your brain is constantly going, and again that feeds into the kind of social media thing, because like that's a constant thing, just like beeping away in your pocket. So I've made like a really, really like back in the day, I was awful. Like I would just be like printing for 12 hours a day, then going home and emailing, and just like my mental health suffered, my sort of relationships suffered, like just my physical health suffered. It's just like relentless. So I think like there has to come a point where you say like, hey, I can't do all of this stuff. And I think like the difficult thing is like, obviously you have like bigger businesses, and then obviously places like the huge places like Amazon and stuff, like where you can order something and it arrives the next day. And I think, yeah, when you're a small business, it's the constant fear that if you don't reply to someone within like 15 seconds of them emailing you, then, do you know what I mean? They're going to go to like a bigger place or whatever. But fortunately enough, we've like, I think because we work predominantly with like independent musicians and artists and stuff, it's like they're kind of like 90% of the time just like quite understanding of that.
Yeah.
You do get the odd person that's just like sending you question marks when you haven't replied, and I've set up like an out of office thing saying that we're closing.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah, so like little things like that, and like, and it's bad because you don't want, because the thing is, you want to make people feel like special, and like do you know what I mean? Like you want to do the work for them, but then at the same time you don't want to, yeah, have your mental health suffer, or just like miss out on a really nice evening of like hanging out with your friends because you're like checking your emails and stuff like that. So like, so for me personally, like, and I think it's different for me because I'm not the face of Vino, but like because I was the one that started Vino, I feel that like I've kind of fucked myself because like I've molded it around me and my personality and my ethics and all of that stuff, which like, and not in like a weird egotistical way, just in a natural way. That's just how I wanted to run a business. And now it's really difficult to separate personal from business. So for example, like the Vino Instagram, that's kind of like my personal Instagram. So like if you look on the stories and stuff, like it'll be me and my wife and the dogs, and just like us hanging out, and there'll be other stuff like obviously the printing that's going on in there, but like and I think that's kind of nice because it's like a personal touch and people know who you are and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely like shot myself a little bit in the foot because it's quite hard to separate myself from Vino. Like people know me as like Mikee Sangre, like, and I always want to say, well, that's not my name, but like, and it's really difficult because you don't want to come across as bit like sounding ungrateful, because I'm anything but it's just like, yeah, it's a difficult thing to like tear yourself
out of your business identity.
Yeah, which is I mean, that's a really fucking lucky position to be in. Do you know what I mean? Like, like it sounds like I'm complaining, but like, it's just one of those like, just like an eternal struggle. Like I'm a definite overthinker, so I'm just like always reading too much into stuff, and yeah, and just have to like
taking critic. Like, would you take a negative review? Would you take that as like a personal attack? And not like, yeah, you just take it personally, and you can't. It's quite hard to detach, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think like because we're a small team, we do have to work super fast, and we do have to like work really hard, and like everyone's here like extra hours, and like, and we do have a great time. Don't get me wrong, but like we all work fucking hard. So like sometimes when I mean, obviously like stuff goes wrong. Like everyone makes mistakes. Like I make loads of mistakes. But yeah, when stuff goes wrong, like, and people do complain, then like yeah, it's difficult not to take it personally because you put so much into that. And I'm not saying bigger businesses and stuff like that put less in, because obviously they're still working hard, but like it's the same. I guess it's the same as if you get a bad review for your band. Do you know what I mean? I don't like reading reviews. Like when we put a record out, I don't like reading the reviews because I don't want to see the negative stuff. So
but yeah,
so
you
yeah,
probably get a ton more positive than you do any negative.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, because we're throwing out work so quickly, and because we do like smaller runs, like sometimes we're doing like 10, 15 jobs a day. So like if you look at the actual percentage of like things that come back or things that are like negative, it's actually a very small number for what we're outputting. So yeah, I'm still very confident and very happy with what we're doing. But yeah, sometimes I do take that stuff personally. But then at the same time, like you can use it constructively, and like if someone says that they weren't happy with this, then maybe next time you like won't do that again. I think a lot of the mistakes that we make is just because we're so busy. From my personal side of things, obviously doing like invoices and emails, like it's very easy to make kind of admin mistakes, stuff like that. So like normally the mistakes that we have is like centered around like, you've sent us 5 smalls instead of 5 mediums, rather than, hey, the print is wrong or anything like that. So so sometimes you can just look at it and be like, right, I need to slow down a bit, and again it feeds back into the like not trying to keep everyone happy all the time, and just like, because if what's the phrase, like I can't remember what my mum used to say, like something about doing stuff too quickly, like this, like going slower is definitely better, because you fuck up less. So so you can just definitely use it as a constructive way. And again, that's all you can do. Do you know what I mean? Like as a small business, just like keep on trying to be positive and plowing forward, and fighting against the big boys.
Have you seen what happened to like Awesome Merch and also Doomsday with their reputations just being absolutely decimated? And do you think there's a way for them to come back from those kind of stories?
So I don't know what's happened with Doomsday. Ironically, I did block them from because they were kind of cold calling some of our customers, and randomly some of the staff that worked here.
Oh yeah, because he started the print side of it, didn't he?
Yeah. So, but the Awesome Merch thing, I mean, I think that's just fucked up, because like that's just business ethics, and I think like that I don't know if you can come back from that. Like I know that they're I guess they're still around, just trading under a different name, but like at the end of the day, like reputation is kind of everything. So like if you fuck that up, like we got a lot of work off the back of Awesome closing down. Or well, closing down or whatever happens. And just like it's difficult because you don't want to slander anyone, but like the way that, from what I've read into it and what other people have said and reading all the stuff that happened, like that's just really just a really bad way of doing things. And like you can't fuck people over and then expect them to like still like come back as a customer. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think like you just have to be very, very cautious with that sort of stuff. And again, like in the print world, everyone knows everyone, and like
they do. Everyone's worked for them or with them or alongside them.
Yeah, and like, and we've all got our own little niches. So like, we just, some people are like predominantly like fashion based, or like someone will be doing like all the hip hop stuff and the drum and bass stuff, and we'll be doing the punk stuff and all those weird little niche subgenres of music. Like everyone's got their own thing, or like if it's city based stuff like that. There's definitely plenty of work to go around, and I think you can run your business in a successful way without fucking anyone else over. And if people do stuff like badly, or like execute stuff poorly, like in not only in their like print quality, but just like in the way they handle their sort of business stuff, like it will soon go around, and then there'll be other people that will pick up the jobs. And I know, so like I said, us and a bunch of other printers that I speak to definitely picked up a lot of work off the back of Awesome. Like doing what Awesome did. So
yeah, we had a big wave because it was a lot of tattooists and micro business people,
yeah,
like one-man bands in all sorts of niches. They had to rely on companies
yeah,
like that. So
yeah,
it literally the wave just came, and you're like, God, they service all these people, and there was so much volume.
yeah,
Yeah, it was. But then again, some of the manufacturers and the suppliers just kind of wrote it off as a bad debt, and then like resupply these people. So
yeah, which is
they're
crazy.
being fed again.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
cut them off
Yeah,
anyway.
well, this is it. I mean, this is the way that like larger business works, I guess. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, we're very like cautious with, especially after COVID as well. And I think like a lot of us are now way more cautious with finances, with the way you run stuff, because like if you can lose everything, which a lot of people did like overnight, like you kind of always need to have some kind of like backup plan. Do you know what I mean? So like, so when it comes to like our suppliers for like ink and the shirts and the garments, like we literally pay everything up front. We don't have
yeah,
like
same.
account people because like I don't want to get to the end of the month and be like, oh fuck, I owe this person like thousands of pounds. That's not how I like. I mean, I'm pretty old school with that, like kind of like my mum drilled it into me, like not to get into debt and like all of that stuff. And so like, yeah, we own all of the equipment. Nothing is like hired. And I think it's just like generally a safer way of doing stuff. And then if shit hits the fan, then like, yeah, you're not going to end up like owing people money.
Yeah,
And yeah, you're not going to like end up fucking people over because like at the end of the day, like, yeah, I've randomly, I've only ever been like, yeah, one customer didn't pay me a few years ago, and from that I just changed. So like, and it was literally like £1,500, but like, and this was when I was just by myself, so that was kind of like a month's rent, and so I just changed how I did stuff, and so like I pay everything up front, and we do the same with our customers, and sometimes we lose stuff because we don't do stuff on like
yeah.
30-day terms, but like it's just the way that it's a safer way for a smaller business to do things, I think. So yeah, we just take full payment in advance. So yeah, I used to do it half and half, and that yeah, now it's full in advance because then everyone knows where you stand and everything's like a lot easier.
Yeah, and you're not bankrolling their ambition,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
everyone sees that it's like, oh, I'm going to start a band and then I'm going to sell all these shirts in one night. It's like, I'm not bankrolling your positivity. You
Yeah,
can take
exactly.
that risk on your own. I'm
Yeah,
not the
and to be
bank.
honest, like I would love to do that because like I'm one of them people who just wants to help everyone. But at the end of the day, like and this is where it changed for me because obviously like Sam came on board as my business partner, then we got Max, and then the other guys came along. So now I have to think about like it's not just me and like my personal life. It's me and all these other people and their mortgages and their rent and their personal lives. So like you do have to be a bit more like well, a bit more business like, which is kind of
Yeah,
weird because I'm not a fucking businessman. Like I can print a good t-shirt, but like we're lucky because we got a really great accountant and she just tells us what to do and when to do it and I
yeah.
and I just do it. So like so that yeah, so that side of stuff like I just always err on the side of caution just to make sure that everything's safe and like we just have like a nice web should COVID just come back, which it probably will do. Like who
I
knows
think
what's
it
going
is.
on.
It keeps coming back, but now we're just
Yeah,
calling it a cold, and it's
yeah, exactly.
absolutely mullering people.
Yeah,
But it's not even just the print industry. I'm on the high street now with a little shop, and
yeah, saw that.
eight shops around me have gone
Yeah.
since I opened, which is
Oh
only
wow.
2 months ago.
Yeah,
So
that's
like,
wild.
there's the music shop, like there's like cafes gone down.
Hmm.
Obviously, like Wilkinson's, Superdrug, all
Yeah,
of the little micro ones, and I'm like, fucking hell, these ones have been here for like 10, 15 years.
yeah.
And I know they had to struggle open through COVID, but how did all of those companies not like survive it?
Well, I
I
think
just, I
it's just
just,
how people run businesses, like bigger
yeah,
businesses. It's always just like money, 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 and like yeah, like me and Sam and all the other guys, we could take a bigger wage if we want to, but like we like we kind of don't need anything else. We're like don't earn shit money. We don't earn amazing money. We earn like enough money to have like a comfortable life. We're very privileged in that respect. And like, yeah, I bought a house. Do you know what I mean? So like we're very lucky. But like I think most bigger businesses, just like if the money's in the bank, it's taken out the bank straight away. Whereas like, yeah, we always leave stuff in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know because I'm not a businessman and I don't know how people run bigger businesses.
Thing is, you are a businessman because
yeah, this is it. This is it. Yeah, which is crazy.
Irony,
like,
yeah,
because I never thought I would be in this. When I started this, if you'd have said to me like you'd have like this kind of warehouse and like a business partner and staff and have to do PAYE and all of this crazy stuff, like I would have just laughed in your face, you know, because like. And it's not that I didn't like want that. I just didn't really expect it to grow into what it's grown into today. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. This next question, I know it's nothing to do with screen printing, but it is important for small business owners, which is setting yourself up to do those life events like buy a house, because it's not like you're probably a director of that company, and most directors of companies pay themselves a wage and then they top it up with dividends. But it's that lowest wage, which is normally 12.5K, because that's like, you know, tax benefits and stuff like that. So how do you build up a history for the banks to take seriously when your wage doesn't reflect like a normal self-employed person? Because if you were self-employed again, it would look like you're making good, like mega change, because all of your turnover of your business looks like that's all your income.
Yeah.
Like, how did you find that challenging?
So ironically, that's the one thing that fucked me up.
Yeah.
So basically, when Sam came on board, we turned the business limited. Which I didn't realize that just resets the books.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So I went in to get the mortgage, and they were just like, "You've only got like a year's worth of books. Where's the rest of it?" And I was like, "Well, I've got like 10 years worth of history." And they're like, "Yeah, that's a different business." So I'm like, "Well, clearly you can see it's the same thing." And they're like, "No, it's like a hard cut off." So it's really difficult. So I had to basically like, there's like this SSA 302 thing where like the bank looks at like the sort of the structure of the business and like your turnover and all of those things and stuff that I really don't understand. And again, like, so I'm indebted to my accountant because she just basically said, blah, 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 blah. Give them this and it'll all be fine. And yeah, it's basically just like your wage and like the dividends and all of that sort of stuff. And it kind of equates to like as if I was self-employed and just taking like a larger wage. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that, I didn't get taught that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you kind of just have to go into it like anything, just like, here I am. How do we do this? Like, and yeah, I managed to luckily like scavenge enough of like a history with the limited thing to get through. We ended up with a really shit mortgage, which actually worked out in our favor because obviously then the whole like,
so it was like fixed high, but then it went astronomical, and then you were actually like, oh, actually we got a relatively
so when it all kicked off and like obviously everyone's mortgages jumped up because ours was so high in the first place, our jump was relatively small. So we were very, very lucky. But like so now so like Sam's going to be looking at buying a house soon, and we're going to look at buying maybe buying this studio or maybe buying a different property. Brilliant. Like under the Vino name. So now we've got like 5 years now, I think, worth of books as a limited company. So then the bank will take that seriously, and but I don't really know. In answer to the question,
it's something to be aware of, isn't it? Though.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's loads of stuff like that where you just my main advice is to get like a really good accountant, because there's loads of stuff on the internet about it, but like I find all of that stuff really daunting and like really complicated. And the thought of doing like my own personal tax return fills me with absolute dread.
This year, my tax return email was 2 sentences.
Yeah,
they were like, "What's cool? Look, we have to do a tax return," and I've already done it, obviously, because it's like during like the end of January or something.
Uh-huh.
Two sentences back, he did it, sent it back and goes, "This is it." And I'm like, thanks. But
yeah.
Oh my God, it's just complete jargon. And you can probably mess yourself up if you don't get a professional to do it.
Well, it's also really
yeah.
if you have like all the student loan stuff and everything, like that's on my little list of things to do. Like, because obviously, like if you've got like if you're earning over 14 grand or 15 grand, then you have to start paying your student loan back. Like, and yeah, fuck knows if I've been doing that over the last few years when like, self-employed. So like stuff like that, like it's so like up in the air, and like a lot of I mean, this is the thing, like I'm not really like interested in that kind of stuff. So like a lot of people would be like, well, I want to learn how to do this, but I would rather spend my time doing A, the things I want to do in my personal time, and B, the stuff I do at work, and not spend weeks and weeks, anytime at all, like looking at numbers and figures and stuff like that. Like, basically, when Lisa, our accountant, comes in, we kind of have a chat, and she says, "Well, this is good and this is good," and then we just say, "Are you happy, Lisa?" And she says, "Yes, it's great." I'm like, "Cool. See you in a few weeks." Like, and as long as she's happy, then we're happy. So, yeah, it's definitely a learning curve, but one that I'm kind of reluctant to put too much.
Don't do it. You got Lisa.
Yeah,
sod it.
Yeah.
So talking about your efficiencies and things like that, things that you can actually have an influence on. What type of things have you been working on, and what do you reckon is the thing that's stopping you get more t-shirts out the door every day? What are you pushing up against?
I think like at the moment we're kind of at capacity. So like when I ran the business by myself, I obviously did everything by myself, like like literally everything. Like I don't even need to say what it is. Like, so now with the team of people that we have, I don't think we could physically get any more out the door without an extra pair of hands. Like just like silly stuff, just like straightening the shirts, sizing the shirts, boxing things up, putting labels on boxes, like all of the little things that add up to like a bigger thing. And like, so we've got one auto and one manual, and they run like at the same time throughout the day. So like if they're both going, there's not really much more we can do. So like I guess eventually we might get like a second auto. That's something we've toyed about and thought about. And then have two autos, one for fast stuff, one for like more kind of like intricate multicolor stuff, and then the manual carousel for like the smaller runs. But yeah, like as far as like we're going now, we're kind of just like we're about as efficient as we can really get. Like, are you really like going back to what you said about like Callum leaving, that kind of made us realize like what we can and cannot do, and just having that like that pair of hands just gone. It wasn't a shock because we knew it was coming, like as far as like workload goes. But yeah, I think like there's certain stuff like upstairs in the kind of office that could maybe get a bit more streamlined, but like things like that take time. And I think the problem is, again, as a small business, like you spend all your time doing stuff that you can't do the things that would then therefore make you more efficient. So like we need to make a new website, and we want to have stuff so where people can order it online without like me having to go backwards and forwards with them. But like that would mean Sam would have to come off the machine and stop printing to do that. So therefore we'd have to like output less work. So then it's just like becomes this juggling act of like what's the priority and what's the most important thing. So like, and the thing that happened with COVID, it meant that nothing was like normal anymore. So like it used to be January and February were kind of quieter, but now that's kind of out the window. Like summer is still busier, and there's definitely periods where it's quieter, but like you kind of can't guarantee that. Like before COVID, you could kind of be like, right, it's going to be the quiet time, so let's fix the machine and service this, and let's focus on the website and blah blah blah. But like, so yeah, I think like juggling like the physical printing and getting the work out the door and like pushing your business forwards I think that's one of the hardest things to just kind of generally navigate. I think like, and I would guess most small businesses also struggle. Like, I don't feel like I would be alone in saying that, like, and again, or you just do that out of hours and you just like
die. No, it's not a good idea.
Put in like a 70, 80 hour week, which I've been doing before. And like, yeah, if stuff, that's the thing. Like, I would rather stay behind late and print shirts to meet a deadline than stay behind late and like code a website. So
yeah, it's so tricky. But
it is.
Do you think I've noticed something in a couple of other industries where they kind of have this almost like circuit break week where they reset everything and they work on stuff. And I'd love to build that into my business. Like, okay, right, the first week of November or whatever it is, regardless of how busy we are, that week is booked off for improvements or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I can see it in other industries, and I know they can predict like seasons a little bit better, but maybe we just have to force through a circuit break day where, right, this is website day.
Well, yeah,
it's
exactly.
horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. And like, I think if you do that, I mean, like, we have like Friday afternoons, we like do all the maintenance and the cleaning of the machines and the carousel and stuff. So if we can do that, and we can force ourselves to like go home at 5 o'clock, and then not do Instagram and emails in the evening, then surely we can force ourselves to have a week of doing things. But like, it's just that constant fear again, like, of whether you're gonna like lose customers to other printers, or like whether you're gonna miss a deadline, or like, again, trying to keep everybody happy. So like, it's definitely something we've toyed about. And also just silly stuff like, if you're gonna go on holiday, like, we was like, should we have like a 2 or 3 week period, like when we all go on holiday? Because like, when you take one, because it's kind of like a machine. So like if Tom goes on holiday, then I've got to split my time doing emails and doing the prep work. Sam's got to split his time doing printing and prep work. So then everything becomes a little bit slower. So do you just like say, right, we're all on holiday?
I think that sounds like a brilliant idea.
It becomes difficult because then, like, maybe Tom wants to go on holiday in November and I want to go on holiday in July. You can't really dictate to someone like, you must go on holiday here. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's just again, like one of those things where you kind of just like bumble your way through things until you find, I guess, what works well for you. But there's definitely scope for, like you say, like a hard reset is a really good idea. I think it's just having the bottle to go ahead and do it. And I think most people would be like cool with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you can make it like a positive thing again. Like, here's a picture of us like cleaning a machine. Like, it's not very exciting, but like people can still see you're doing stuff. And then if you like, for example, if you're doing a website, you can be like, right, we're closing for a week, but at the end of the week, have a fucking new website and it looks really cool. So there's definitely ways of doing it, but yeah, just having the
fear.
It is the fear. Like, and that's one of the best and the worst things about running your own business, I think. Like, so yeah, God damn the fear.
At least we're not in office jobs where we hate going in on Monday and we're clock watching until 5, and that's not the situation. I'm clock watching till when the delivery guy gets here, and then
exactly.
That is completely reversed.
Well, we were literally talking about it this morning. Tara was saying like how in her previous job, she was like, her boss would like hit her up every hour and be like, hey, you've only emailed 9 people, your target's 10 people. Like, so we don't have any of that stuff. So like, created like an environment where like we all work fucking hard. Like, but sorry, I do swear a lot.
It's okay, no? I swear a lot too.
But yeah, we all work really hard and get the work done. But like we don't have to, like, me and Sam don't have to be like, hey, can you just like stop doing that and do this? And like, because everyone knows what their role is, and they all know what the deadlines are, because it's all kind of just like there on the computer. And like, if you've got like a common goal, like, which is basically getting like a good quality shirt or garment or poster or whatever out the door in a good like set amount of time, then yeah, I think you can do it without having someone breathing down your neck. Like, And I like, as a director or business owner or whatever, like, because I hate being like the boss, and I know Sam hates that as well. Like, and we kind of joke about like, hey, it's the boss man, blah blah blah. But like, yeah, I don't want to be someone's boss. Like, everyone knows what they need to do, so they just kind of get on and do it. And like, that's one of the great things about what we've kind of like managed to achieve here, is just like, it's just like really nice people that all get on, all have like loads of cool like common interests, and like have their own interests, but all just have like, yeah, just like a really good work ethic. So yeah, so you don't have to boss people around.
And you're not seeing like loads of turnover where people are just quitting after 2 months. Your people seem to stay with you, well, for indefinitely,
Yeah,
until
exactly.
like a big life event or something.
Yeah,
or...
exactly. And I think that's testament like to, yeah, like if you have staff leaving every week, there's a problem somewhere. Like,
with
do you know
you.
what I mean? Yeah,
It's you,
yeah,
you're the
it would
problem.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, be it like, yeah, the boss, or like the environment, or just like the heat, like little things like that. Like, we've had to start, like, because we got like staff now, we've had to like start doing like health and safety things, which we never had to do before, never even really thought about. We were just like, was fucking common sense. Like, that thing's really hot, don't touch it. Like, but now it's like, okay, so we have to yeah, do things a bit more officially, but like, yeah, you can definitely do things in a way where you don't, yeah, don't like patronize people, or like make people feel like they need to like watch the clock. Like I would hate it if someone like worked with me or whatever and hated their job, and like went home and was just like, oh, like said to their partner, oh fuck, I don't want to go to work today. Like, that would make me so sad. So like, yeah, my main goal, I guess, would be, and Sam's the same, just like, yeah, create an environment where people want to come to work, and then the work gets done. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I've worked some awful jobs throughout my life. Do you know what I mean? And I've had awful bosses, and all I've tried to do, and me and Sam talk about it all the time, is you just try and do the opposite of those experiences. So like, if you had a boss that was like really brutal and just like picked up on all these things, you just don't do that. And like, and it gets to a point where you work with people for long enough that, as long as they know what's expected of them, like, it's on them to basically then, yeah, step up and work. Like, it's kind of like, for me, it's not rocket science. It's fairly simple, and it's just like, it's the same as anything.
It's the "don't be a dick" poster, isn't it?
Basically, yeah. And if you treat people well, like, people are happy. Like that. Yeah, don't be a dick. Be excellent to each other. Like, it's very like, I wish everyone had that like ethic in life, because like the world would be a fucking like much better place. But I think, unfortunately, like, yeah, greed and power and all of that stuff just like fucks with the rotation, and then yeah, then people lose sight of that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I think like, it's difficult, as I guess, if you do run a business where you've got like hundreds and hundreds of employees, like, it is hard to have to like be a personable boss or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I always like, I had this really cool like area manager that so I used to work for Jessop's, you know, the camera shop.
Yeah.
And I was the manager. Well, I was a lab manager, and like, well, I started in sales and worked my way up and blah blah blah. But I had this one really cool area manager that would just be like, he'd come in, there'd be a massive queue of people, and he'd like put his little briefcase down, and then just like start serving customers. And I was like, that's fucking cool. Like, I want to be like this guy. And then I've had other managers that are just like, well, I'm not doing that. And like, they go upstairs and they just like, we'd all be working super duper hard, and the manager would be upstairs like drinking a coffee. Like, well, we had one manager that would just like watch the fucking Simpsons while we're all downstairs working. We're like, dude, this is not cool. Like, this is not good behavior. So like, so I think, yeah, it's definitely easier with a small team, because like, and we're all friends as well. So like, so there's just like a generally like a mutual respect thing going on, which is, but yeah, just, yeah, don't be a dick.
Also, your poster is like, fuck the Tories. Can you tell me about Norwich Print Party, and how did that go down?
That was awesome. That was really, really cool. So like, it's kind of weird, because like, Norwich has got loads and loads of like awesome printers, awesome printmakers, and loads of like yeah, just really cool like artists and stuff. And I think we've always felt a little bit weird because like we're all creative in our own way, but like when I think not that we're like seen as like a commercial print place, but like we're definitely more just like just churning out like work. We're still as creative as the other printers. So like there was definitely a period of time where we were like, oh, we're not being invited to these things. So, like, is this something that we're doing wrong? And all it was, we just didn't like speak to the right people and hang out with the right people. But yeah, Joe that used to run Print to the People.
I knew it would come back as something. I actually pestered her on the podcast and she was like, oh no. And then she was being all coy. And she obviously had like Norwich Print Party in her head.
Yeah.
I have to like get her on again. But,
well, yeah. So basically, what they achieved with that was just like pulling loads and loads of like, again, like-minded people all together in one room. And for us, it was like a real honor to be there because yeah, sometimes we do feel like a little bit like, not the outcasts, like, and yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that anyone made us feel like that, but just from the perspective of just like, there's people that screen print that are making art, and we're sort of screen printing other people's stuff in there's a slightly different way of doing things, but then at the same time we have like our own designs, and it was just really nice to be in a room with like a bunch of like-minded people and other printers and just be like full nerds about stuff and it was really successful, like, which is amazing. Like I think it had like something stupid like 2,000 people came through the door over the weekend, and like yeah, it was just like a really nice atmosphere. And like Norwich has always been really cool for like
so cool,
independent stuff. So we were like just really stoked to be there, to be honest. It was like a real pleasure.
Yeah, and it's going to be a highlight for the calendar, I guess. Like this is a day where we don't have to be, on. We can just be ourselves and be artists again.
Yeah, and like we're just like just drinking a few beers and just like walking around and it's cool because like there's other printers that I speak to online that I've never met in person. It's like, fuck, this is amazing. Because this is the weird thing with the internet. Like you speak to people so frequently, but you've never met them. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same with being in the band and all of that stuff. Like there's people that you meet like throughout your life that you kind of like, because people put their personal stuff on the internet. So like
they know your dog's name.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like so you kind of already feel like you know that person, or you have like a certain bond, or even you have like a certain in-joke with them, but you've never met them. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was really nice to just meet some people that we've kind of like chatted to, and it was just nice to kind of just like hang out all together, because it's difficult because we're friends here, like we don't always want to be like, right, let's work here for like 6-7 hours and then like we do go out together and like hang out, but like not like in a kind of like informal kind of like printy kind of
change the environment, don't you? It's like we went to a little day festival the other day, and I could have had it me and Em man the store, but I kind of wanted to change the environment for everyone to see like this is like a fun day in the calendar, not like forced fun, but I find it engaging and fun, and I like the change of scene, so I want to punctuate that for people, again, like working in your team.
So have you found it different than obviously like opening the shop, like juggling between the two, because obviously that's like two completely different dynamics, and it's two completely separate like businesses, two different industries, I guess. So
it is tricky, but Squeegee kind of is gone into YouTube videos, educational, all that kind of stuff. So we did this as like part of a plan. Like we lowered the amount of the custom orders, increased the amount of Blind Maggot to the point where we don't need any custom orders.
Yeah.
But there was definitely a 3-month period there where we were doing up the shop where I had no time for anything. And thankfully Em was next to me. If Em wasn't next to me, I wouldn't have seen her.
Yeah.
But that you can't do it all. And I'm trying to gauge my focus again, but I did kind of drop the ball on certain projects. Like there's videos that I was supposed to do like 3 months ago, and I've just like ghosted it.
Yeah.
And I could feel that ticking at the back of my head, like, where's my video? Where's my video? And or like this project that I was working on. And so I can't say that I did it perfectly.
Yeah.
But now you've got the team behind us in the shop. It seems to be going well. So I think I'm going to get away with it. Not focusing on Squeegee for long enough so it didn't die, but it's just like watering plants and there isn't enough water to go around. But
100%.
I don't know. Something always has to take the back seat, doesn't it? But
well, because we were thinking of like branching out into like different things and like like I said about like maybe buying the unit or buying another unit, and we're thinking like opening like a kind of like an art space or like
definitely
some kind of like desk situation where people can come and work, or even just like having like a band practice room that's just like attached to the print shop and stuff like that. So like just like we were just always thinking about like ways of like developing things and like changing things up. So I've always like really interesting like that you took that leap, and like doubled your workload.
Doubled my workload, and then gave it some of it away. We have made the mistake of being the people in the shop before.
Yeah.
And like my mum, for example, keeps saying like, oh, but if you worked in the shop, then this would happen and this would happen. I'm like, no, it won't, because there won't be any t-shirts for the shop and it would starve.
This is the problem.
I had to take myself out of it from day one. And that's the thing. We got trapped in a shop before, and you can't get out. Yeah. And you see other small businesses and they're still working in the shop that they did. Yeah. Because then they've embedded themselves and they can't replace themselves. Yeah. I don't know.
It's such a fine, it's like I said before about like separating Mikee from Vino, like it's such a fine line. And if you take one step over that line, you fucked it basically.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to like then take the step back. Well, from my experience, definitely like that's something that in hindsight I wish I'd like, because I didn't really think about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like kind of blindly went along with it. In hindsight, that's definitely one thing that I would look to have changed, or just like not gone as full throttle into certain things. But we're definitely like looking at ways of just like again building like more of a community around stuff, and like just making like a hub, and like the whole kind of print to the people thing and what they had there, and then what the people then went on to achieve with the print party. Like there's a definite like community element to stuff, and it's super nice just being able to talk to like printing is not really that gatekeepery. Like there's a lot of like like I said, like we all talk to each other, like, and if I message you and said, hey, what white ink are you using? I wouldn't expect you to be like, hey, go fuck yourself. We would all probably
I'd love to do that and then just leave it for half an hour.
Yeah, I would be fretting about that. Yeah. But that's the thing. So like, and like we all advise each other, we all speak to each other, and it's like, and it's super nice. So if you can do that, then like that whole same kind of thing with members of the public, and give other people opportunities to like, hey, I'd really like to have this workspace, like art space, but I can't fucking afford it. We're like, well, hey, like we've got this big space, like come and have a desk in the corner here and you'll be able to afford that. Do you know what I mean? So like we're kind of thinking of ways of like not branching out, but just like and not even diversifying, just trying to like make Vino into like a rounded kind of,
I know what you mean.
Thing. Yeah.
Because if you said, oh, I now want to hire out bikes or something, I'd be like, okay, it's a little bit off. But if it's in your industry and it's just like one step to the side, and it's those people who hire those tables will tell like 100 people about it.
Exactly.
And they'll even use you. So it's just add-ons are good, but like these sideline things that drag you away from your main business are never good. So.
And that's something we're definitely mindful of, because like Vino, like I said, we're kind of at capacity. So like if one of us goes on holiday, or even if one of us just has a really bad day, like that can be that can be like super damaging, just for the workload. Do you know what I mean? And like I saw on your Instagram the other day about sometimes you have those days where everything just fucking breaks.
Yeah.
And you're like, God damn it, like this this is so annoying. And then you have those other days where it's absolutely glorious and everything prints out amazing and you get loads done, and like that's just the nature of printing. So yeah, I think yeah, but that's one thing that's scary about having a small business, is just how big it can be if you have one of those like bad days. But fortunately, like we don't have them so often. But yeah, even stuff just like pinging a screen, like fuck, we've got to remake that screen, and then that person's job gets put back a day. Then I have to email them and say it's gone back a day, and just like the knock on.
I know it is a minefield, but I also wouldn't swap it out because I can't think of anything more fulfilling that I'd rather be doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like I know the answer to this question, but say if like all of the equipment was completely like stolen, okay?
Yeah.
Everything was taken out.
Yeah.
And you had to, give all of your staff you had to still pay your staff. Would you would you get more screen printing equipment, or would you go for like a newer technology? Like, would you just get a DTF machine, or would you rather
yeah, you definitely know what I'm going to say. It would
a DTF.
Yeah. No, we would just like get the equipment and carry on.
Nothing's pulling you. Nothing's like,
no, we're not
no
interested. Like we had, I don't know where it came from. We got a sample of some like a DTF shirt the other day, and like, yeah, it's just something that I'm not interested in. Like, none of us are interested in it. Like, screen printing is an awesome medium, and it's nice and hands on, and like you have to think about it, and you have to like, yeah, be engaged with it. And like I like the fact that everything is like in like a circle. So like you have the start of like contacting us, and then everything's the backwards and forwards and the mock-ups, and then making the screen. Well, even like down to like doing the separations, printing the posies, like Tom doing the screens, and then mixing the inks, like all of that stuff. If you took that away, I'd be so fucking bored. Like,
but what if you're bored on sitting on like loads of cash? But I don't actually think that's right, because I've looked at the numbers of some of these people and I just can't see. I don't know where the threshold is where you're making more through DTF transfers over screen printing stuff.
I think probably just the speed. Like if you're able to, if you've got 20 grand and you buy, I actually don't know how much a DTF machine would be, but like, I guess if you bought like a bank of DTF machines and you were just throwing out, because I guess like if you're doing 10 shirts, the unit cost is going to be way different. So like, yeah, if you're just punting out shirts like super quickly and you don't have to like employ someone to make the screens. So say I was like, right, there's 5 of us, we get 5 DTF machines. Maybe we would make more money, but would we have a nice life? I don't think we would. Like, and again, like I said, like none of us are really interested in like financial like gain in that respect. Yeah, like I said, as long as we're comfortable, that's cool. And we're in like a very fortunate position where the business is going well and we earn okay money. But like, yeah, the thought of not, for me personally, and I would like to think that if you asked each individual member of Vino, we would all say like 100% like no DTG, no DTF, like yeah, keep it old school, keep it what we know, like it's what we've been doing.
Are you ever scared of, say, somebody who's really well financially backed getting a big commercial unit next to you and getting one of those Polaris machines? Have you seen it?
No, I just don't care.
You don't care. Okay, it's okay.
I'm
I'm not trying to break your resolve. I'm just trying to be like, this is a fear, and if Mikey doesn't care, we all just it's okay. We
well,
can
no,
all
I think
collectively
it's a definitely a very
not be too
interesting.
scared.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting conversation to have because like I don't know, like Amazon definitely invested in some fucking big machines and stuff like that, and like I think going forward there will be more DTG and more DTF, but like I think there will always be a need for screen printing. Like there'll always be a need for like a one color white print on a black t-shirt for a punk band. Do you know what I mean? Like and I don't think that will ever go away. And and because I think that and because I'm because I'm happy here, I'm not fearful of like the robots taking over and all of that sort of stuff. Like, I mean, it was a huge thing for us to get an auto originally because like I had to change all of the signage. Like, I don't know if it's yeah. So like even up there, hand pulled DIY screen printing. So can't call ourselves that anymore because I've got.
I'm glad you didn't because I see some bastards and they've got they do have autos and they're still drumming on about how they hand pulled it. And then I did a poll on my story and I said like, can you still call it hand printed if it's on an auto? And like it wasn't 100% no, it was like 25% said you can. It's like what are you talking about?
I mean, every shirt is touched by hand, technically, even on the auto, but you're not. Yeah. So like we're kind of like I said, we're 50-50 now. So like we do small runs and like the more kind of arty stuff on the manual carousel. Yeah. And like the main reason for getting the auto was to A, save my back and my wrists, and B, to just like be able to get stuff out the door quicker as we grew as a business. Like it wasn't like a money making thing. It was just like it was fundamentally to save my wrists.
And your physical welfare.
Yeah, and also
point.
going into that with like we've been talking about with the mental health of just like not having to work 12-hour days and stuff and being able to like cut it off. So I don't think it's bad to like to have an auto. Do you know what I mean? Like I know there's some printers that are just like, well, if you're using an auto, then you're not a screen printer, and I don't think that's true because like you still have to be a fucking good printer to run an auto, and you still have to know how to print. Like all of us can print by hand. Like and it's the same as like when I started because I was tattooing years and years ago, and it's like you have to tattoo yourself like before you tattoo the public. Do you know what I mean? So like I wouldn't let anyone use the auto until they're like a competent hand printer. Like it goes like you need to have that like understanding of like how a squeegee works, angles and like pressure and all of the stuff.
Mikey, you should watch the shirt agency episode. He's like you'll say the exact opposite thing to every single thing he says. He said
Brilliant.
You don't need to train them on manual because it's just pressing buttons on the auto. And then he says like you have to, if they're not doing this many shirts in a day, then you just fire them. And
wow, who is this?
Shirt agency. Okay. I can't remember what his name is, first name. And then he's everything you say, he's the exact opposite. And it's I should play the clips like this, alternating.
Yeah. But it is a really interesting thing because like, and that's the wild thing about printing, because you do have the people that want to have like 1,000 auto machines that are just like, firing people and just like manufacturing. And like, yes, we are manufacturing to an extent, but like you can still be successful and like not just fucking press a button on a machine. Like I'd love to see their prints if that's all they're capable of doing. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of stuff that goes into printing that people don't see. And like for me, getting the auto was a huge learning curve. Like, and if I didn't know how to manually print, I'd be fucked. I wouldn't know what I was doing, and everything would just be broken. So
I believe that.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I should be more like this other dude or whatever. But like
No, please don't.
That doesn't feed in with anything that I'm interested in, or do you know what I mean? So
don't, because then the other things he said was like, I've got a massive staff turnover, and he also said that there's no way that manual can't be anything than a hobby. And you're like,
wow. Okay,
I'm right here. Like,
yeah.
Hello.
So did he not start on a manual? Like, did he just like?
Yeah, he's got manuals. He's got manuals, but he just he's just got much more respect for people who are like multimillionaires and billionaires and things, and have the huge.
Fuck that guy then.
Yeah. I think I'm more that you're punk. I'm like not punk. I'm not cool enough, but I'm like craft person. And then there's the pure manufacturers who they know how to do business, and it doesn't matter what business is in front of them. If that was slaughtering pigs, they'd do it in the same efficiency as they are printing shirts.
Well, so, I remember working at Jessop's, and like they're like fucking the big chairman dude, and then they got someone that was like the chairman of Sainsbury's, and I was like, how the fuck does this guy know anything about cameras? He's like a supermarket. And then ironically 4 months later Jessop's went into administration, so like it doesn't always work, but yeah, I don't know, like again, like fundamentally don't be a dick. Like you can have a successful life and a successful business. Like, well, maybe that dude would look at me and be like, this guy's not a success. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but like I think happiness over everything is a general motto. And just like, and like with the punk thing, I think like it's just, like some of my friends, like, I mean, even Sam's like technically not like a punk, in like he doesn't listen to punk music and he doesn't dress like a punk, but like his ethics and his life ethos is very punk. So like maybe you're not into all of that sort of stuff, but like you say, you're crafty or whatever. Like
Norwich is punk. Norwich is punk. It is punk, like
but like you run your business in a certain way. So like I think that's pretty punk in its own way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh, thanks, Mikey.
So
thinks I'm a bit punk.
but you know what I mean? Like it doesn't like you don't have to live to all the ideals of just like going out to make as much money as you can and having like the fanciest car and the biggest house. Like like some of my happiest memories was when I lived in a fucking van. Like do you know what I mean? Like, or printing from my bedroom. And I reckon if you speak to 99% of printers, like I guarantee if you ask everybody as like an opening question on your podcasts, like, did you start printing in your bedroom or your garage? Every single person would say yes.
Yeah.
Like pretty much. I'd be very surprised if people didn't, like, or didn't at least have some kind of screen printing experience at like college, or like printing something in their kitchen. Do you know what I mean? Like most of us are like have been into that sort of stuff throughout the years before like various levels of success or whatever you want to.
Yeah, well, there you go. Thank you so much, Maggie. I really appreciate your time, and I know you're like sweaty as hell and just want us to take that.
It's very hot, and I've run out of water. So
oh god, I'll let you go because it's fierce. And British people, we don't have aircon like you in America, so that's why
we don't. So
we're punishing ourselves.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be like a big old thunderstorm and clear everything up tonight. But yeah, fingers crossed.
Awesome, thank you. Really appreciate it.
All right.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
All right. Bye.